What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another War Thunder video. Today we're doing our 1,000 subscriber Q&A. I gave you guys all a couple of days to send in some questions, and you have flooded my comments section with all kinds of questions, ranging from personal questions to War Thunder questions and a couple other oddball questions. Which starts us off actually with the Orange Dooms question. How many cats does it take to knock a toaster off the counter if the train is traveling at 50 kilometers an hour? What? You see, this is the kind of weird shit that the Orange gets asked every week over on his channel. Where do these weird questions come from? How many cats does it take to knock a toaster off the counter if the train is traveling at 50 kilometers an hour? Well, we have to assume the cat is on the train, or do we? This could be just a completely other train that he's referring to. This could be a trick question, so I'm just gonna leave it up to Orange to tell us. Why would you have a cat on a train that wasn't in some sort of carrier? I don't know. In the background, we got a whole bunch of footage. By the way, I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video. This is a whole bunch of footage that I recorded over the past several months that, for whatever reason, just hasn't made it into a video itself. I got jet gameplay, I got prop gameplay, I got a little bit of everything that, for whatever reason, it just never made it into its own video. Next question, and Theo Gunn has a whole shitload of questions, actually. These are 4. My questions are: your favorite plane, the P-47 Thunderbolt. In your opinion, the best plane in War Thunder. I'm not a fan of this question because, to me, the best plane is based on any number of factors. You could include guns, speed, turning capabilities. To me, it's a completely ridiculous question that I've never liked. So I'm sorry, Theo, but I'm not going to answer that question. The most maxed out plane you have, for example, kills, skin, crew upgrades. Probably my A6M2 slot has the most crew skills. I put a lot of my zeros on that crew. My second highest crew slot is probably the D9, the German D9, because I have a Talisman on that. I used that plane a lot in arcade when it was battle rating 4.7. Completely under-tiered at 4.7. It's still under-tiered at 5.0, but let's not get Gaijin in a hurry to fix that. Next up, side hobbies: basketball, watching television, gardening, just a little bit of everything. You know, nothing too exciting, really. Andy Sell, also known as Brett Maverick, asks, what's your favorite type of pizza? When it comes to pizza, there really isn't much of a limit that I put on pizza. Any kind of pizza is good pizza. I've had thin crust, I've had thick crust, deep dish style, Chicago style. It's all good. I've never had a bad pizza. Even the frozen stuff you get at the store, which may not be great, it's still not, I've never had a bad pizza that I can recall. Tom Summerfield asks, which aircraft do you fear encountering the most in the skies? This is one of those questions that, to me, it depends on the tier. You know, very low tier, the Buffaloes, which are at least presently under-tiered. Mid-tier, the J2M2 is terrifying. And just slightly above the J2M2 would be the Yak 3P. That thing is damn terrifying. What ammunition do you use with the RAF 20mm Hispanos? That'd be air targets. That's, to me, as soon as Gaijin added the air targets, that's why I switched all my Hispanos over to. That's basically stealth ammo on steroids. Next up, Air Arado asks, how old am I? I'm 34. Another question he has is, what are, in your opinion, the 5 worst planes in War Thunder? Oh my god. The very first one that comes to mind is the F1M2, and then the OS2Us. I think there are 2 of them in the American line. After that, the Po2. And number 5 I'd have to put in as the Duck. Not the B2, but the B3 model. The one with the great big, I think it's a 75mm gun. I hate that damn plane. It's a personal least favorite kind of a plane. Just hate the damn thing. Nemesis asks, what's your first impression of War Thunder? My first impression of War Thunder came from when I was watching the Mighty Jingles videos a long time ago, and I was just in awe of what this game was. It was spectacular in every sense of the word. It not only looked exciting, but the graphics were impressive, and there was just really nothing like it that I could recall. I wasn't playing a whole lot of games at that time. There weren't very many games on the market that were of any interest to me. War game types of games, you know, this whole genre of war games, it was new to me. I'd never really gotten involved in anything quite like it. So this whole thing has been really interesting. The second question is, do you like jet era or propeller era more? Definitely propeller era. Yeah, I don't really enjoy jets as much. Giants Fans 247 asks, what are your computer specs? Everything is in the video description below. I include everything except for probably my, well, I don't know if I have my keyboard in there or my microphone stand, but they're really nothing special. Keyboard is a SteelSeries keyboard that I bought off of eBay, and I honestly don't like this damn thing. It's broken. The keyboard spacebar was broken when I got it, and I'm assuming that the guy who sold it to me knew that it was broken, and that's why I got a good deal on it. And I didn't feel like going through the hassle of returning the thing and dealing with all of the customer service and all that baloney. He also asked, will you ever do simulator battles? Probably not. I'm not ruling it out completely, but simulator battles do not interest me very much. It's a mode that requires a great deal of time, a lot of dedication if you want to get any good at simulator battles, and I don't have enough interest in sim to buy a flight stick and pedals and the whole 9 yards. And to me, if you're going to play simulator battles, you should be using a flight stick and all that stuff. I know that you can use just a mouse to play simulator battles, but to me, it's just not the same. You should be using a stick and pedals and the whole deal. Morgan Davidson comes in with 5 questions. Number 1, aside from War Thunder, what other games do you enjoy? What other genres do you enjoy? I used to enjoy sports games, but today it's mostly strategy. Any kind of strategy games, real-time strategy. I used to play a lot of all the Age of Empire games, city-building games, like not like SimCity so much, but rather the games from Impressions games. Like Caesar and Zeus, Poseidon, Pharaoh, all those kinds of games. You can do a Google search and learn about that. I've actually been playing another game which was recently developed by a French company called Lethis, Path of Progress, and it takes essentially that same game style but puts on a new twist with a steampunk design. It looks really interesting. I've been enjoying that quite a bit here lately. I might do a let's play for the channel. I don't know. We'll see how much interest there is in that video or in that series. Question number 2: if you could change any one thing about War Thunder, what would you change? Just one thing? Really? You want to limit me to just one thing? I would completely overhaul the battle rating system. It's been quite some time since Gaijin has implemented the current battle rating system, and it's just not working. It's been proven over the course of time that it just isn't the right way to go. You have to balance battle ratings based on plane performance, not based on player performance. It's not the plane's fault that someone doesn't know how to fly it properly. You can't fix stupid by lowering battle ratings. You fix stupid by educating people on how to actually fly the plane or how to drive a tank. Not just in general, but that particular tank, that particular plane. You have to educate them on how to use that plane's or that tank's strengths and weaknesses. And until we start focusing on educating the players, all we're going to do is continue this battle-ridden circle jerk into oblivion. Nothing's going to get fixed. Question number 3. What is your current stance on the ultra-low graphics setting issue? Oh boy. For those of you who aren't familiar with this, this is, I believe he's referring to the realistic battles and simulator battles, ground forces, where you can turn down your graphics to where the grasses and trees and bushes, for all intents and purposes, disappear. Not quite literally disappear, but like, I don't know, like 85% of it just vanishes somehow, mysteriously. And this was originally intended to help those who are using low performance computers. The problem is people with high performance computers can do the same thing. They can get that competitive advantage because here's what basically happens is you are hiding yourself in the tank behind, let's say, a tree or a couple of bushes. If I turn my graphics settings down to ultra low, I can see you. Those bushes aren't there. That tree isn't there. You are completely exposed. How on earth is that fair? This whole graphics settings issue is one of the reasons I don't participate in realistic battles or in simulator battles, at least for ground forces. I have no interest in dealing with that. I had my share of issues where I was getting shot by tanks that I know could not have seen me unless they were using ultra-low graphics. At the end of the day, Gaijin is a company, and a company exists to make money. As long as they can make money doing things the way that they do, they're going to continue to do things in that matter. There's no reason to change. There's no benefit for them. There isn't enough of an uproar within the community for them to change their minds. It's an inconvenience, but not an issue worth getting rid of. And quite frankly, what are the alternatives? Do you raise the minimum hardware requirements, thereby telling people to not play their game? One thing you have to remember is War Thunder is a free-to-play game. The free-to-play model is an attempt to get as many people as possible to play the game. And that's something Gaijin has done a pretty good job at, nailing down. Getting a lot of people come in to play their game, test it out, and you don't need a monster PC to play this game, either air battles or ground battles. I'm using a pretty entry-level card, a graphics card, and I think the game looks pretty damn good. I'm not able to max out the settings by any means, but I'm able to put out pretty good quality videos, and I'm very happy with the quality of gameplay. I get more than 60 FPS even in tanks. Very rarely do I see anything below 60 FPS with, I think I have high graphics or something like that. I don't see a whole lot of alternatives for Gaijin, other than just to keep things as they are and to introduce perhaps more city maps, add more haze, or do more rain maps. I had my first rain map recently, and it was an arcade battle, and even though you have the names above the tanks, you can't actually see the tanks themselves in arcade until you put the aim assist marker over them, and you'll see the little green marker or the red marker or whatever. And I can't even imagine what it would be like to play a realistic battle or a simulator battle with rain and all that fog that happens on those rainy maps. It's incredible. I really enjoyed that map. Anyway, I hope that answers your question. I know that's kind of a long-winded discussion. Frankly, you could talk like a 20-minute video just on this topic, because you can go all over the place with it. Next question: pizza and beer or steak and whiskey? Actually, I don't drink, believe it or not. Even though I'm of age and I can drink whatever I want, I don't drink alcohol. I love pizza. I don't eat steak because I've never had a properly prepared steak, to be honest with you. It's one of those foods that no one's ever been able to cook just perfectly. So I pretty much just given up on eating steak. If I'm out at a restaurant, I'll eat something else, whether it'll be fish or whatever. I don't bother with steak because I'm almost always disappointed with it. It's always either overcooked or undercooked, and it's never good. I'll just leave it at that. Question number 5: what are your favorite genres of music? Oh my god, I listen to almost anything. Classic rock, older rap. I don't like newer rap. The newer rap sucks, in my opinion. The stuff from the 80s and some of the 90s, there's some pretty good stuff back then. I also love old music, like from the 30s and 40s. I grew up in the 80s, so I'm kind of partial to 80s music, just to some extent. But anyway, I like just about everything. Next up, we have I'm a big troll, heed me, or I curse you with spaghetti and laugh. He asks, what are your favorite American and German plane in the game, and what do you do when you're not gaming? My favorite American plane is the P-47. Favorite German plane is the premium P-47. Okay, so you want an actual German plane? I'll probably have to go with the BF-109 G2 Trop. And what do you do when you're not gaming? Playing basketball, watching television, gardening, just whatever. I don't live all that exciting of a life. I don't have a whole lot of hobbies. Donnie Wow, I apologize if I pronounce your name wrong. He says, what do you think? Do you think jets from the 50s and 60s will be added? I don't know. This is one of those things I've not paid all that close attention to. The cutoff date seems to get muddied up a little bit. First Gaijin says one thing, then they say another. I don't know where the cutoff exactly is. I have no problems with jets from 50s and 60s. They could add all the way up to the 80s. I really don't care. I know you get into the whole discussion of heat-seeking rockets and all that. I don't care. I say bring it all on. But I don't think they will. I think they will eventually come up with a hard date, a cutoff date, and then they'll just say enough is enough. I think Vietnam War and Korean War is probably about as far as they're going to go. The last question is, what is your favorite plane? Again, P-47. The Derpcraft to go asks, do you feel the War Thunder community is growing or getting smaller due to bugs or OP? I've talked about this once before, I believe, in another video. I think it's fairly stagnant. There's very slight growth, I would argue. I think the people who complain about the community getting smaller and smaller is I think they're full of shit, to be honest with you, because the numbers, at least the numbers that show up when you log on to War Thunder, there's a little counter that tells you how many players are online. That number, I don't know how accurate it is, but it's I can log on almost any time of the day, and I can tell you about how many are going to be on there before I even log on, because it's that predictable. It's very, very steady. Now, I would like to see it increase, obviously. I would like to see more players come into the game, but everyone takes breaks. Everyone, well, not everyone, but some people just quit for whatever reason. And it's not necessarily just because of they don't like the game. Sometimes people are going off to college or whatever, and they only have a certain amount of time to play. So it's just part of the deal. The second question is, do you plan on playing with subscribers? At some point, yes. I'm thinking about setting up my own squadron. A while back, there was a post from Gaijin saying that they were going to do a junior squadron kind of thing where you can set up your own squad, but you don't have to spend Golden Eagles to create it. And to me, I think that's a pretty good idea. The only thing I don't like about the way Gaijin has monetized the game is with squads. I don't recall what the price is offhand, but it's a couple of thousand Golden Eagles, I believe. And to me, that's just obscene for this kind of monetization. I'm okay with premium planes, premium tanks, and premium account and all that kind of stuff. That's all fine. But to me, monetizing squadrons is a little too far, in my opinion. Next question: your favorite nation and plane from each nation. Favorite nation would be Japan. Favorite plane from each nation, let's see, American would be P-47, Germany, BF-109 G2, Russia, have to be the Yak 3P because that's just insane. Britain, I'd have to go with the Sea Fury. Japan, I have to go with the N1K. I used to love flying out in the Zeros, but they've unfortunately been nerfed and over-tiered so much that they're just not fun to fly anymore. Next up, we have a Nissan U with a question about the Cougar. He asks, am I a fan of the F9, F6 Cougar? I am not a fan of the Cougar any more than any other plane. Jets are not my thing, so if you like the Cougar, good for you. I don't dislike it. Just can't say I'm a fan or not a fan. Next question, we have two questions. What plane do you like to see in the game the most? I really don't have any plane requests at this point. They've added so many planes I don't even know what to deal with. Have you ever been to Greece? No, I have not. Never been to Europe. Believe it or not, I've never left the United States. Martina Saxon, I know I mispronounced that one. Where are you from and do you like beer? I am from the United States. If you pull up a map of the United States and do a search for Chicago, I am fairly close to Chicago. And do I like beer? I don't hate beer, I just don't drink it. I don't drink any alcohol. Next up we have Korgith, who asks, what is your stance on the difference between real and arcade mode, playstyle wise, like how you approach each mode? I would say I'm a little more aggressive in arcade, although not like a total polar opposite of how I approach realistic. But because you have additional lives, I am a little bit more aggressive. I'm not as hesitant to go head on and that kind of thing. I actually prefer arcade because of the fact that there's so much more action. People have an opportunity to respawn and get revenge. And I've had some of my favorite matches have been people trying to kill me after I've killed them, and they just keep coming at me, and I kill them 3 or 4 more times. It's absolutely hilarious. Brian, my wingman Brian, and I have just had so much fun in arcade. To me, the modes are not completely dissimilar. There are a lot more similarities than I think people like to admit. His other question is, what is your mouse setup? Like, what kind of mouse and sensitivity of the mouse and the in-game settings? I have a ROCCAT Kone Pure military mouse. It's got, I believe I'm using the 800 DPI setting. It's not very high. You can go up to, I believe, 5,000 DPI, which is completely overkill. My in-game settings I will show on the screen with a screenshot. I would say just go ahead and just tweak it until you're comfortable with it. There's no magic button. Everyone has their own settings, so just use whatever is comfortable for you. Fat Kid at Recess asks, can you make a video on the best and worst premiums? No. And here's the reason why. It's very simple. If you try to do an all-encompassing video on all the premiums, it's going to be out of date in like 3 months when the next update comes out and there's 3 or 4 new premium planes or premium tanks. I generally don't like to put out videos that are out of date within a couple of months like that. You know, it's one thing if it's like, say, a plane that gets a whole new flight model, then I'll revisit that particular plane in a revisit video. But I don't like to do an all-encompassing video about every plane. I remember getting a request once by someone. He asked me to do a video on all the planes that were in the German tech tree. He wanted all of them in one video, like a summary of everything. No, it's just not going to happen. Nobleman says, in your opinion, what is the best value for money premium plane? I'm still a huge fan of the P-47. It doesn't matter if it's the German premium P-47 or the Russian premium P-47 or even the American premium P-47M. I think is very, very good. I actually tend to lean towards the earlier P-47s, the German and the Russian ones, because of their relative cost compared to what the American P-47 is, because of the fact that that's a Tier 4, and Tier 4 premiums tend to be awfully expensive. Usually 30, 40 bucks, something like that. That's awfully expensive for a plane, in my opinion. Whereas say something like a tier 3 premium is usually considerably cheaper. Generally speaking, if you're grinding tier 5, I would recommend putting a talisman on a tier 4 plane that you really like, that you're really good with, regardless of the mode, and rolling that out. This is, of course, is because we're going for value for money. We're going for the most bang for your buck. And the most bang for your buck is to put a talisman on a tier 4 plane that you already have. You don't have to spend 40 bucks on a premium plane. A talisman for a tier 4 plane is what, about 1,800 golden eagles, 2,000 golden eagles, somewhere around there. You can buy 2,500 golden eagles on the War Thunder store for $14, 14 US dollars. Compare that to a regular tier 4 premium, and there's a huge price difference. So if you're looking for value, there's really no question that the best value is to get a talisman on a tier 4 plane that you like. But then again, on the flip side, if you're only in tier 3 and you're looking to get into tier 5, then you got a bit of a quandary on your hands. Either you continue to grind that first couple of tier 4 planes in hopes of getting something you like, or you buy a premium plane at tier 4. And but in the end, that's up to you to decide. How you spend your money is entirely your business. If you want to know my opinion on a particular plane, by all means, ask in the comment section below in this video or another. And last question we have comes from Cliff Daniels. What program do you use to record your YouTube videos? I use a program called Morellis Action to record the videos, and then I use Movie Studio Platinum 13 from Sony to edit the videos down and render them before uploading to YouTube. Morellis is spelled M-I-R-I-L-L-I-S. If you want to do a Google search, you can find information about it. It's not free, but it is a program that I like, and it's worked out pretty well for me. Anyway, guys, it's been 27.5 minutes. It's time to wrap this thing up. I really appreciate all you guys sending in your questions. Some kind of odd, some very interesting, some thought-provoking. I'd like to do another one of these Q&A videos at some point. This is a lot of fun. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button. And of course, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Take care, guys.